Welcome to the Liberal Buzz Show. I'm Denise Dorey. I don't blame you for not watching because it's the NBA Finals. Go Warriors. We've got, I'm just didn't invite any guests today, but I decided I wasn't even going to come to do the show. I'd rather be watching the game, but here I am. I just don't like, I'm just one of those people that don't like to quit. So I'm going to rush home and watch the second half. Now, I've got things that I've not been able to talk about because I've only got a 22-minute show, and there's a lot more to cover than that isn't possible in 22 minutes. So this is going to be an episode about voting, because voting is next week, and we've got some really painfully important issues to deal with. Now, we've got the Democratic Party slate, which is, let's call it the real estate magnate slate. And we've got the Reform Party, which is the good people, the little people, us. And the Reform Party, if you got one of these, don't be fooled. If you're a progressive, please do not be fooled by fake progressives, where they call themselves grassroots. You know, they probably never touched a joint in their life. So anyway, and we've got double A. That's a yes. That's a definite yes. Double A. And it's to protect the environment and the shorebirds and the little fishies. It's great. So I'm definitely voting yes. There's nothing bad about that. We have to have all these ballot initiatives because our lawmakers won't really do their jobs, will they? You know, they just sit there and go, okay, pass the buck to someone else and collect money from developers, and I don't know, whatever they do. I'm sure you know as much about it as I do. So we've got Elizabeth Alexander, Tom Amiano, John Burton. There's a list of candidates on this slate. Petra DeJesus, Bevan Dufty, John Gollinger, Pratma Gupta, Francis Zay, Jane Kim, Raphael Mandelman, Sophie Maxwell, Aaron Peskin, Wade Woods, and Cindy Wu. Now these are if these people get in control of the DCCC, we'll be in better shape to fight off developers taken over our neighborhoods, like they've been doing with Ed Lee since 2010. We've noticed just a lot of displacement, and it's just really scary. And so now, let's see. I have some things written down. I wanted you to know about. You can volunteer for these candidates too. I urge you to volunteer for folks like Jane Kim. Especially, she needs help against Scott Wiener, who likes to. He was the one who, basically, he was behind the homeless sweeps, and he likes the Adult Use of Marijuana Act, which is a really bad way to go down. It's a ticket to jail. I'll be talking about that in a while. I'm going to show you a video, but. So if you beat someone up, we go to jail. So there's reasonable use of force. Now that's Jeff Adachi. That's a news flash. Jeff Adachi wants to revisit reasonable and rewrite the reasonable use of force. And of course, a police commissioner in charge of that. So we can redo the DCCC. We can redo the reasonable use of force so that the cops can't go around killing us. I mean, 4 members of my family were beaten up by cops. And in 1964, my grandfather, he was in his 60s, came home black and blue. And the San Francisco cops had a dispute about parking, and he ended up getting beaten up. So anyway, that was in '64, and I got sidewalk slammed by him too once. So yeah, got some bruises. So you gotta we got this reasonable use of force. We've had 3 deaths this year. We've had, and then this pregnant lady, okay, car thievery, whatever, but it's not something you deserve to be executed for. So it's just, we've got to do so. At least Greg Sir is gone. The police chief, they've redone this mess. And and also, let's see, we're talking about jails now. Cannabis prisoners are easier to deal with and more desirable by private prisons. So isn't that something? And also the sit-lie law, that might be revisited too. It's unconstitutional. The government, a higher government than the San Francisco government. Now, Gavin Newsom made 2 bad laws. He's behind this Adult Use of Marijuana Act and privatizing the herb and making us criminals. And but while pretending to legalize the herb. So, Gavin Newsom really has not done well. I'm sorry I voted for him, and I won't ever vote for him ever again, ever. In fact, I'm going to protest if he runs it for anything, and I think he probably will. We haven't seen the last of him yet. And so the sit-lie law, it's just terrible. It's really, I mean, Berkeley, you have to have 2 feet around you, 2 feet square to sit. And it's just ridiculous. People can't, you can't rest anywhere. And so it's unconstitutional. In fact, it's against your 8th Amendment rights, and the guaranteed by the 8th Amendment that you can sit and rest in public, and that's not an arrestable offense. There's too many quality of life laws that have to be rethought, and we've really got to get progressives in office. So again, please volunteer for a candidate. Volunteer for Jane Kim needs your help. She's let's see, Jane Kim is at 91 McAllister. Her office is right behind Carl's Jr. You can go there between 10 a.m. and 10 at night and work for her, making calls. Supervisor Jane Kim, she's running for state senate against Scott Wiener, and we've got to get her in there. Whew, and she's a little bit behind, but if we have to push, because Scott Wiener's gotten almost 3 times as much money donated to him as she has. She's gotten about $500,000. He's gotten about $1.25 million. So Scott Wiener's ahead of us in campaign donations, and he's got I'm sorry, I voted for Mark Leno too. Mark Leno is the outgoing senator is endorsing Scott Wiener, and really, I mean, okay, Scott Wiener's done one good thing with open source voting. I'm happy with that. Okay, open source voting is good because he can win elections by just flat out lying to people. So why he doesn't open source? It seems like it because he tells flat out lies, and no one really challenges him enough in the media, except me. He lied about housing that he approved for middle income and affordable housing, and it was actually the supervisor before him that approved that housing. So that was a flat out lie. But did you hear anything in the media about it? No, you won't either. So unless it makes some noise. So now I've got. Let's see. We got to start with this here. I'm gonna play something for you. I gotta get. I've been to. Okay, here we go. I've got somebody calling in in 7 minutes. The sit-lie law on the prisoners. Now, I was going to talk about Jane Kim and Scott Wiener. See, Jane Kim was viewed as a moderate politician. I don't think he should even be called a Democrat, except he's better with the environment, and which should be a bipartisan issue, but it hasn't been because of the oil companies. But Kim is a progressive one. She's relatively progressive as far, she could be more progressive, but she could be a lot worse. She differs from Wiener by supporting tougher restrictions on short-term rentals like Airbnb. See, Scott was all up in that. So, and Jane Kim's includes eviction protections, negotiation of landmark development deals with significantly more affordable housing, and the placement of Prop C on the June ballot. Please vote yes on C, no on B, please. We want to boost citywide affordable housing requirements in new development, because they weren't building any since 2010 or before. So Wiener's roster, what he's done is he passed a mandate to install solar installations in new buildings. Got to agree with that. So that's how he's pulling in votes, and even though that should be a bipartisan issue, is solar by now. I mean, see, the icebergs are gone, people. Believe me. They can see it. It doesn't rain anymore. So he created fully paid 6 weeks of parental leave, but he's got Kim now, Jane Kim, she's endorsed by the tenants union. So, and also Tom Amiano, David Campos, who's this guy. So she's Kim supports the right to rest law, which is tying into what I was talking about. The sit lie law should. I know it was approved by voters, but it's not constitutional. And there a lot of money was put into that to defeat the no campaign on the sit lie law. But that was a bad year for progressives. That 2010 was just horrible. After that election, it was just such a depressing election. It was 2010. But we got to make this better. We got to work hard and work. I'm glad to see that Latinos are voting more. You're registering more Latinos to vote against Donald Trump. That's cool. Thank you. Get more. Go to the Department of Elections. Go in the basement. Get some forms that. For voter registration, because you have till October. You can't do it in this election. You have to wait until October. And please get folks to vote. Get them out there. Now, Mayor Ed Lee is going to appoint somebody to fill Jane Kim's seat if she does win, and we hope she does. So, but then it's interesting. There's also a petition started by Mike Murphy, bless him, to recall Ed Lee. That's great, because Ed Lee is just, a toxic. He's been saying things that aren't. He's in La La Land. You probably seen about it, Ed Lee making some. It was funny, but we'll keep our eye on him. I don't know the FBI and. What about Ed Lee? And you heard about Ed Lee complicit with Willie Brown. And also Gavin Newsom's in that pile too, sort of. They're all like this. They got their hands in the pie. And so, let's see. And so now Gavin Newsom is also in on this AMA, Adult Use of Marijuana Act. And it's a way for Big Pharma to take over the cannabis community. Really, it is. To criminalize folks and take over the community, make a lot of money off us, tax us over and over. Big fines for smoking. Outdoor fines are $100 now. They'll be $250 for any outdoor toking. What? And you can't even grow outside. And I mean, really, this plant gets huge. You got to grow it outside. And if you can grow a pound for $5 or $10 worth of water and soil, for a pound for $5 or $10, I mean, it's a vote no. I mean, I'm telling you, it's predatory. Vote no on AMA. So, Adult Use of Marijuana Act. And it's an act. And they shouldn't call it marijuana. Marijuana is a terrible name for it. So, see, because Big Pharma, they make up a lot of diseases to sell their dope. They've got the Restasis, dry eye. Come on now, just drink more water, people. There's a bunch of them. There's overactive bladder, and rather than they're not really interested in healing us or telling us to eat right as much as they want us to take these pills. And I'm telling you, some of these pills are $30 each or more, and they want you to take them every month, every 30 days, and charge your insurance up to $1,000 or more for it. And then the Republicans go on and on about, oh dear, we got a call. Greetings, caller. You're on the air with Denise Dorey, Liberal Buzz.
Oh, hi, Denise. This is Gilbert.
Oh, hey, what's up? How you going?
Listen, all these laws and ordinances that are passing for the SFPD, they will not apply to the sheriff's department. Now, this rule that they came out about the SFPD having to report every use of force incident, that does not apply to the sheriff's department. So, the sheriff's department of Alameda is the one that beat that guy up in that alleyway. That wasn't SFPD. But
No.
the Alameda Sheriff's Department, when they dove into our city and used our streets as a NASCAR racetrack, I thought that was illegal. You're not supposed to be chasing people through the streets at 100 miles an hour. So I don't understand. I guess that rule or ordinance only applies to SFPD. But if you're a cop from the outside area, I guess you can use the city streets as a NASCAR racetrack.
Oh, well, just try being a citizen and getting in a fight, or you'll get arrested for assault. But if the police hit us, they don't get arrested for assault at all. So they're the only ones allowed to hit us and shoot us and go back to work the next day and be paid.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I don't think they should be using our streets as NASCAR racetracks. All right. Take care, Denise.
Oh, gee. Okay. Thanks. Thanks for your thoughts. Appreciate it. Yeah, they do. It's well documented, these police chases. So, anyway, I wanted to show you some of this before we go.
I'm going to play dummy.
All right, so we're going to go back to about right here. This is some education about the Adult Use of Marijuana Act. This will get you hip. This chick can tell you better than I can.
The strains for the pharmaceutical industry, such as GW Pharmaceutical that has their sativa spray, Sativex, and I think they're working on other products. And of course, R.J. Reynolds has purchased tens of thousands of acres up in Northern California, and they would love to be growing a huge amount of crop for the adult recreational industry, and Monsanto would like to help them with those strains. So what we have here with the AUMA is basically the hostile takeover of cannabis in the state of California. And we always say, as goes California, so goes the world. And so what I am wanting people to know, we're starting this education process early. You were asking me about signatures. That's kind of how the conversation got started. Their signatures are being verified now. I'm assuming by looking at the numbers right now, they are going to turn in enough signatures, and we'll see what happens. At that point, instead of you out there hearing us talk about the AUMA, you'll hear us saying no on prop whatever. At that point, it'll get a prop number. So if it qualifies for the ballot, it'll get a prop number, and we will really then start to up the campaign at that point, because then that's what it'll look like on everybody's ballot. California deserves better. We can wait until 2018. I'll be more than happy to talk about the alternatives, because there are already fantastic initiatives written and ready to go. They don't have a Billionaire Boys Club backing it, but we've got good language that's good for California. But that's the introduction, the tip of the iceberg of, here what I have here is this red line version by a colleague of mine that's attorney that's taken the entire initiative and redlined it with her notes, because she's an attorney, of all the problems with this initiative. So once it has its prop number, we can get together and do this again, just to point everybody to the social media where they can really read all this and chew it up. But
So there's that. Now, I really hate Alma. I mean, you should hate it. You should really hate it. If it's going to put kids in jail and, stuff like, it's bad. So, I urge you to just tell all your friends, just vote no, get as many people to register as you can, please. I mean, it'll mean everything to us. It will. I mean, we could have, there's High Times magazine. You can't believe High Times magazine. They're so industry. So I used to read High Times. So here we go. I'm gonna close with this. This is my favorite.
Rest of us, right-wing and bitter, clinging, proud clingers of our guns, our God, and our religions, and our Constitution, tell us that we're not red enough. How about the rest of us? Right right-wing and bitter, clinging, proud clingers of our guns are right-wing and bitter, clinging, proud clingers of our guns are right-wing and bitter, clinging, right-wing and bitter, clinging, right. Are you ready to stop? Right-wing and bitter, clinging, proud clingers of our guns are right-wing and bitter, clinging, heads are spinning, right-wing and bitter, clinging, proud clingers of our guns are right-wing and bitter, clinging, heads are spinning, left and right, we, you, hallelujah, left and right, heads are spinning, left and right, we, you, hallelujah, left and right, no more pussyfooting around. And then they tell us, just chill, okay, just relax. Well, look, right-wing and bitter, clinging, proud clingers of our guns are right-wing and bitter, clinging, heads are spinning, right-wing and bitter, clinging, proud clingers of our guns are right-wing and bitter, clinging, heads are spinning, drill, baby, drill, down, drill, baby, heads are spinning, drill, baby, drill, down, drill, baby, no more pussyfooting around.
Oh, I just love the B-Fisto. Big shout out to B-Fisto Facebook. Oh, yeah, she's a nice lady. Just ask her. And so is Donald Trump. I mean, they're... Oh, God. And I urge you to adopt a shelter pet, please, and volunteer for a progressive candidate, Jane Kim, 91 McAllister, 10 to... Bye-bye.